ping 6,000 people and open the room. That is the right link to my stream, right?
Yep.
It is good. All right. Jimmy says 201 modulate, make sure lead dev.
It threw me off because for me it says 1401.
Yeah, I converted it in my mind.
Oh, okay. I have my. It's because I have my clocks in military time. I did that like a long time ago. So when you said two,
My
I've not seen
phone,
two in a long time.
actually no, it's not. My old phone was military time. I guess I never switched my new phone to it.
Mm.
My brain just converts them regardless. So
Yeah, I do it now too. I'm just like, what do you mean
Jimmy
two?
says 24-hour supremacy. Juror number 9 asks, who is the ultimate fighter? Bombardito Crocodilo or Tralalero Tralala? Okay.
Where's the third option that says, I don't know what you're talking about?
Doom says, I can't get into the voice channel.
He was here just a second ago.
Should have. I don't see why you wouldn't have the perms.
Is it just a connection issue?
It's probably a connection issue again. He had this last time, I think, when people were joining.
That's rough.
Hop into different.
All right. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to our apparently 20th Campfire chat. It's been a while, at least for me. I don't
Yeah, I
even
don't know this
remember when
guy.
the last time I was here was. Probably
I don't know
like,
who this guy is.
yeah. I just decided to take over. You know how it is.
Weren't you here for the last one?
Huh?
Or was it the one before?
No, here's the last one.
Yeah.
Was I?
Okay, well, if he's asking.
No, I wasn't at the. Was I at the last month? Dude,
You're at one of
I'm
the
going
last
crazy.
two.
I definitely wasn't in the February one. I was doing stuff that weekend.
Oh,
Was I
maybe.
in January? I know I didn't host it then.
Actually, you're in here. You have the VODs.
Well, in any case, it's been a minute. I hope everyone's doing well. If you don't know who I am, I'm not going to explain. Who was the scientist who stole a scrape of paint from a ring world? Albert Foster, says Lloyd. Yeah. Something, something, my new empire, says Worf. Yeah, so, trying to remember how all we used to do this. You know, we talk about news, we talk about whatever questions were submitted, we answer questions in chat. That's how it is, right? I'm not forgetting
Yeah.
things. Okay.
Usually we start with the biggest things that we're talking about as developers and what we're excited about, or what we were excited about last update. But that's been a minute, so.
I'm excited about the pull quest number being so low.
Don't don't say that. They're gonna make it go up.
What? It can't be easy for us. They have to put up a fight.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't
Who
follow on
knows?
GitHub, for the past 4 years, the number of open pull quests has always been above 100. It got above 100 sometime back in 2021, almost 4 years to the day. I think it was like early March 2021, or maybe it was late February 2021, where it got above 100, and it has never dropped below that point since then. But as of the past couple weeks, as juror number 9 posts in chat, we are at 106. 106. We peaked at 185. A little over a month ago, we were at 150. We're at
I thought it was going to go to
106 now.
200.
So we're really putting in some work out here for you guys. Lots of interesting stuff coming for the next update, which is currently
we've also,
planned for the end of May. So we have another 2 months worth of development to go still.
we also have had more hands helping us too. I don't remember if last chat we mentioned, but we do have a new developer.
Ah, we do.
Our good pal Tom here is now a developer.
Yep, Tom,
Everyone
good
congratulate
idea.
him. Yeah, he's got some great ideas actually.
Some great ideas, yeah. So I know that Tom's been around for a couple years now, right? 3 years it looks like, almost 2.5.
3 years, so.
Yeah, yeah. And he's been putting in some great code pull quests. I know that. So that's one of the big reasons why the devs kind of were like, hey, we could make him a dev. He's pretty good at programming things. He has an eye for review. So now Tom's a dev. We look forward to seeing what he works on and what he merges in the future.
All I'm saying is you're going to hear the good idea joke all the time. That was on you for that being your name.
Yeah,
You
anytime
signed
you say
yourself up
something,
for
oh,
that.
that's a good idea, Tom. All right, well, any other big news aside from new release in a couple months, lots of stuff being worked on. Tom's a new dev. I'm back, kind of. As far as I'm concerned, I'm still on hiatus, okay? I could disappear again at any moment, but
We're
I
not letting
am
him.
around.
He's on leash and collar right now. He can't.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. I only have an hour. I do have to go. I have a pretty hard cutoff at 3. So we started at 2, which means we only have like 50 more minutes. So maybe we should just jump right into the questions instead of
Sounds
dilly-dallying.
good.
I do see we have a couple people on Twitch. True Fooler says, hi, military time is nice. You guys are doing incredible work. Heart emoji. Thank you. And
Thank you.
Strange June says, stranger danger. I don't know who the stranger is. I guess that's me. I will tell you, I'm only sometimes dangerous. Just stay on my good side. All right, well, I do have the submitted questions up, and I see someone just added another one. The first one we're actually going to skip because somebody, this is basically a copy pasta from the game, but converted into furry chat with a bunch of W's all over the place. I'm not going to read that out loud.
When he was beyond what?
Yeah, but we
I
can
won't.
paste it in chat. If anybody,
Oh,
yeah, okay, Tyve got it. And then Ziprid also posted it, so I think we know who posted that. I'll post it on Twitch for the ones who don't aren't looking on Discord. Strange June says, "Oh, that's reassuring. You're only a little dangerous." Okay.
Pensive.
Is that this unfettered speech? Yeah, it is.
No, they sound more angry than that.
Something like that. But the first actual question is from the 14th of March, and I say this because it's time. The question is time relevant. As of the time of writing, another person has posted an issue with the Ivan missions where you analyze the Void Sprites or the Remnant. What was the plan for them? Does it still make sense for them to be in the game? And if so, how should the numerous bugs be fixed? Now, I took a look back through the issues just to find what they were referring to, because whoever posted this question didn't actually link it. But it is issue 11-167, where if you have multiple missions at the same time, so you have the deep remnant missions, but then you also have a remnant mission to defend one of their systems from the Korath, these two basically conflict in that the Korath that spawn from the deep mission or from the remnant mission will destroy the ships you're supposed to scan for the deep mission. Frankly, I wouldn't call this a bug. If you have a bunch of missions at once and one of them happens to cause you trouble completing the other one, then I kind of feel like that's on you for accepting a bunch of missions at once. I don't know if we should say, like, hey, if one mission is offered, the other mission shouldn't offer. Now, we probably could do that just to make it easier on people, but I would also say you should probably just complete your missions. You shouldn't be leaving a bunch of missions just in your save
Yeah.
file, just uncompleted. Don't be one of those people who opens like 50 bounty missions.
I mean, it's fine to open 50 bounty missions because those are generic jobs, but if you're getting like sort of story missions, you probably shouldn't be like collecting story missions around the whole galaxy before starting one of them
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah, but I don't think it's right to allow them to conflict still. Like, we could just block the offer pretty easily.
Hmm.
Pretty much all of the coalition missions actually do that with two branches. You can't have like a Heliarch mission and a Lunarian mission at the same time.
Mm.
And that prevents like a million issues like this one.
Yeah. And I'm not saying it's something we can't fix or shouldn't fix. It's just that I wouldn't really call this a bug, personally. Maybe it's just quibbling over the term bug, but
Yeah, I'd have
um,
to know what specifically the bug is that this person's referring to.
I mean, this
I
is
think it's
one of the
definitely an unintended effect.
yeah. This is one of the issues. But then they refer to other bugs, the numerous bugs that should be fixed, or how should the numerous bugs
Mm.
be fixed? Well, they should just be fixed. Um, depending on whatever the bug is, will change how we fix it. If you think there's a bunch of bugs with this mission, please point them out. I do know there's some open issues around this set of missions, but for the most part, it's not like it's a completely game broken mission or set of missions
Is it?
rather.
Where'd you
Yeah,
link
the
to that?
Archon stuff is weird. That his reputation changes there. I think
That's just the remnant missions. I think this question is more referring to the deep remnant missions where you're speaking with Ivan and investigating the remnant for the deep.
ah,
Can you link to that in the Campfire chat? Is that, or did you? The Emberways.
Simultaneously investigating Ivan and helping him retrieve keystones. Um, I
Mm.
don't particularly see an issue with that. You can't be a double agent.
I guess it's more meant to be a question of is the gameplay they're supposed to be linear or can they happen at the same time? Is the if them happening at the same time is that a bug? Is that actually breaking the gameplay? And the answer is no. So it sounds more like a style change request of how those missions operate, rather than it being something that's breaking the gameplay. Which like that's something we could consider too, but I guess that's what
Um,
he says, like what's wrong with them both happening at the same time?
Super says some of the bugs I have found are what they mentioned, that they assume the remnant don't like you scanning them even if you get permission to scan first. I mean, in that case, that should just be we add a branch
Yeah.
to the mission. Um,
I'm sure there's places we could have branches like
yeah,
everywhere in the game.
yeah.
So
So if I recall correctly, the change to or the story change to the remnant, where at some point they don't mind if you scan them anymore, that was
yeah.
added after the deep remnant missions were added. So it's not something that I could have accounted for at the time. June asks, isn't the story goal of the missions to scan a remnant ship, though? A remnant ship, italicized. It doesn't make a lot of sense to fail it because one remnant ship was destroyed. That's unfortunately just a bit of a, uh, what would you call it? When we have a mission where you have to scan a ship, we can't have an objective that says scan any ship of this type. We have to spawn in an NPC whose goal, whose objective is for you to scan that specific ship. So I understand what you mean where from like a story perspective, it doesn't make sense that it's only these two specific ships that you are allowed to scan. But from a engine perspective, that's just the way we have to do it right now. We would have to add new mechanics to be able to make it so that you can scan ships of a specific type, but they don't need to be NPCs spawned by the mission.
It's been a long time since I played Connaissance or the Remnant missions. Is the ship you have to scan marked?
Yes.
Because okay, so it's like the Republic's scanning the cruisers in the very early parts of the free world. So they're marked to scan. Um, is it that they're just dying to random corresponds, or is there actual like corresponds like jumping and killing them, like from the mission?
It's if you have another mission at the same time that causes corresponds
Oh,
assisting.
okay, okay.
It's not just a. I mean, theoretically, there could be a random correspond that takes out the ships you're supposed to scan, but that's highly unlikely.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
As for the rest of the question of does it still make sense to have these missions in the game, I would need you to explain to me why you think it doesn't make sense for these missions to be in the game. Because that, I mean, the question implies that they shouldn't be, or that there's a question of whether they should be. But you don't really outline, oh, this is why they shouldn't be, or this is because like I think if you point to like, oh, there's these bugs with the missions, well, those bugs should just be fixed. That isn't a reason for removing it. Zipper says, and there's also Ivan just completely ignoring scientific ethics and saying go steal stuff from the Remnant and cripple their ships. If you don't do the blood test, you're asked to steal engines off their ships, which means it can't move. Okay, and that's just Ivan's character. I'm not seeing the issue with the story or the missions. Yeah, Hector says, I mean, that's one way to fix bugs, just remove everything with a bug in it.
It sounds less like bugs and more like stylistic choices.
And I mean, the point is, too, you can say no. You can just walk away. If you say yes, then, I mean, if you're helping out to do that, then that's on you. That's your story choice as a character in the game.
Can we throw Ivan into the sun?
Siride says, comment out the whole game, then there's no bugs. Exactly.
Look, just because his name starts with I doesn't mean he's Icarus. We're not throwing him in the sun.
Zipper says,
You
the
might
Deep
like
as a whole, though, seems to be perfectly fine with this. Nobody in the Deep calls him out. How much oversight is there? Did they tell? Yeah, Warp says, did they tell the whole Deep about it? Isn't it? It's okay. It's been a while since I've actually played through those missions as well. But isn't it the case that at a certain point, like, it becomes more secretive? There are actually less people involved after a certain point. Now, if the first question is what was the plan for the storyline? I mean, the plan was for it to be expanded upon at some point. It's just that I never got around to that. As for the specific plans, I'd have to dig really back into my memory banks to find that out. Because it's been so long. I mean, how old are those missions? It's like 2019, 2020, probably. It's been a while since I really sat down and just written something. 2018 says Warp. Whew. Yeah, that's a while ago. Alright, well. I think we can probably move on to the next question here. What is the plan for the unsplash images that are not allowed in Debian? The plan is to eventually replace them, but that's really up to whoever wants to jump on that. I don't think there's any particular drive at the moment from anybody to do that. Not that I'm aware of.
We kind of have to, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. Warp asks, weren't they originally part of the Bactrian missions? Those were merged in January 2019. Part of them were, but there was an extension that was added after the fact, if I recall correctly. I think it was just the first few missions were a part of the... No, was the whole thing a part of the Bactrian missions? I know that at one point we made it so that you only need to actually do the first few missions of the Deep Remnant investigation in order to get the Bactrian. But I also feel like at some point we definitely did expand upon the Deep Remnant missions.
Um,
Go ahead.
I was going to talk about what Zippert's saying. Zippert, you said Debian doesn't allow Unsplash, but I thought that it doesn't allow a certain license of it. Isn't the older license of Unsplash different than what it is now that they're not accepting? 'Cause I remember they
Yeah,
updated
but
their license.
we have some images under the new one, I think.
Okay, but not all of them. We still have Unsplash images that are under the old license. They said the old license is also bad? Okay. I mean, yeah, at that point, it'd just be us sitting down, looking for some free-sourced images or from another site, hopefully with a license that works for Debian, and then replacing those images. But we definitely, it depends how we want to approach it, because we could just like replace them one by one, or which would probably be more the case. We'd sit down and look at all of them together. It's just a matter of someone putting the time aside to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's mostly land images, isn't it?
Yeah.
If not all of them.
Yeah, I think they're all just landscape images.
Okay. Yeah, we're not doing one by one. That's why I said the other one's more likely. Creative Commons is fine.
SirDerpy asks, when was the last time you, in parentheses, Derpy, looked at your work on the Syndicate campaign stuff? And off the cuff, is there something you think is essential or that you would definitely want to exclude from that original work? It's been a long time, I'll tell you that. I have been talking about recently with the other devs some ideas I've had for changing the characterization of the Syndicate. But as for the intro missions that I had written years ago, I want to keep the characters, and I think the overall goals of the missions that you do is going to be mostly the same, maybe with some tweaks here and there. But I do actually want to go through and effectively rewrite good chunks of that, if I'm the one to rewrite it. Mainly probably changing characterization of some of the characters as well. Exo asks, are they supposed to be big bad corpo or just morally questionable corpo? Morally questionable. From a certain point of view.
Are people
Reticent
discussing
asks, are
Syndicate
people
currently?
discussing Syndicate currently?
A little bit.
Yeah. There's been some...
Not like a sit down and look into it like to its core, but that would be something I would like to at least do eventually here.
Yeah. And Roadrunner asks, is this in regards to Derpy Syndicate repository? It is. That was SirDerpy's question.
Mm.
All right. Have you come to a consensus on Azure's meeting minutes idea? We
Yep.
have, and we've been posting them. So hopefully they've been helpful.
You can find those on our GitHub in the announcements section.
Useless Pineapple asks, are there any plans to help make small missions more likely to find or trigger? I find in my older save that I'm missing a bunch of side content. I think that there's a balancing act we have to do where we don't want things to be too likely to offer, because then when you have a new save file, you're just getting stuff thrown at you like crazy. Whereas if you have an older save file, those few things you haven't had offer yet become harder and harder to find. I think that Personally, I would say I don't know how much we want to make it so that as a save file gets older, certain missions become more likely to offer. Because on any given playthrough, there's going to be different missions that offer. So
Yeah.
there is a bit of a replay aspect of you're not always going to get all the same stuff in all the same order. It might be that it takes a second save file to get certain things to offer. But I do understand the desire of I want one save file that has done absolutely everything. So we probably could look into adding some sort of mechanic. It would really just be a condition on certain missions where after that condition is met, its offer chance increases. It would be very easy to set up. It would mainly be a question of, well, when do we trigger that condition? Like, how do we check that in an easy manner?
I suppose for me, my question would be: is there a particular set of mission or a few missions that you're thinking about in specific here, or are you just talking in general?
Also, I see that we've gotten onto a bunch of Syndicate talk. Doom says, we're not going to overdo it and go a full U-turn that makes the Syndicate the good guys, and honestly, I don't imagine there'll need to be much change, if any, to what's in the game already. It's mostly just about how they're characterizing themselves in their campaign, yes. And maybe some slight tweaks of characterization elsewhere, but the
Yeah.
Syndicate are largely going to remain the same. It's more so just a matter of further expanding upon some of their details. When are we adding the free kitten plug-in to the base game? Asks Kayla. I did not know there was such a thing.
He says, Pineapple says, mostly missions in general, but I'm thinking of the late Remnant and Coalition. It's okay, we can say spoilers here. The Coalition Terrorist storyline? Did you mean the Lunarium versus Heliarch? Because if you mean that, that's not a random late game thing. That's a main campaign mission for the Coalition.
Hey, yeah, that's early as far as Coalition is concerned.
Yeah. That one's not a random chance. That one you eventually get, I believe.
Hector says, I mean, Syndicate nuking a city does make it a tad difficult to claim themselves as morally gray. Does it? Did you not listen to the CEO when he gave his reasoning? It's a trolley
And it's
problem.
also not that,
Go ahead, Ty.
yeah, and it's also not the entire syndicate.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if I want to be the devil's advocate, the Syndicate apologist here, they set the nukes off at a time that would minimize casualties. And if what they say about the Oracle is believed to be true, which we don't have any. I mean, we have some reason to think that the Oracle might be tampered with by the Alphas. But if you assume it to be correct, then it does become a trolley problem. Do we cause a war that will result in certain casualties to stave off a massive economic depression that will potentially result in more people dying as a result of just everything collapsing? Hector says, I do generally tend to file nuking a civilian city under bad things to do, but perhaps that's just me. Well, they never said it was a good thing. They said it was the preferable outcome. If I want to pull it up. Now, granted, this is actually a line I added because I agreed with you where originally the whole characterization of why they dropped the nukes was not the best. Or at least they didn't. Alistair just didn't really put up a fight. Let me see. Alright, so spoiler alert if you haven't played through the Free World campaign. Years ago, some of our financial division were approached by some consultants, some very intelligent and knowledgeable individuals. These consultants had built a powerful quantum computer running a model of the galactic economy. They called it the Oracle. As you may know, business is all about taking risks for uncertain payoffs. But the Oracle gave us a way to predict the future, for everything from supply chain management to stock trading to the commodities market. These consultants, says Freya, were they human? Alistair looks very uncomfortable. Yes and no, he says. Danforth swears. Alphas. You were dealing with the alphas. What did you give them in return? The Korth raids had just begun, says Alistair, so we suddenly had access to alien technology. They were interested in all of it, but particularly the jump drives, so they could spread beyond human space. You can ask, was the information from the Oracle accurate? And Alistair responds, very accurate. Our business flourished like never before. But then a month came when instead the Oracle's predictions were bleak. A massive recession was coming, an end to the golden days of the Republic. We tried altering the model in every way we could, changing our production, our wages. We even asked the Oracle if dissolving the syndicate would avoid the recession. But its predictions remained the same. Then we learned from our contacts in Parliament about the Southern Defense Pact, and the fear that they were about to declare independence. So we asked the Oracle what would happen if war broke out. You started a war to save the economy? Asks Danforth. He sounds disgusted. Do you know how many lives have been lost because of your sick greed? Alistair snaps at Danforth. Do you think we made this decision lightly? Do you know how many lives would have been lost had such a recession actually occurred? The last time the economy fell as hard as the Oracle predicted, humanity entered a dark age where millions died of starvation and billions more suffered from the resulting chaos. But the Alphas were only too glad to help, especially with the nuclear research, which incidentally is why I'm telling you all this, because if your fleet tries to take out the Alphas, they'll strike back with nukes. Now that second to last line there about how millions died of starvation the last time something like this occurred, that was a line I added a while back now, but that wasn't there originally. Alistair's original comment was just kind of like, yeah, kinda. Like with no real argument to back up why that was. Hector's Derpy audiobook, yeah. Is that what? Yeah. Next update, we're going to add a narrator to the game, and it's going to be my voice reading every single mission in the game. Yeah, Zipper says the Syndicate probably saw as a necessary evil. Nana says, kind of convenient that the Alpha computer recommended a course of action that would allow the Alphas to try to pull shenanigans again for the first time in decades or centuries. Yeah, that's why I said you can make an argument that the Oracle was potentially tampered with. And that's something I've talked about before too, where it's like, okay, they get the Oracle from the Alphas, and then the prediction that it eventually makes helps the Alphas at some point. So can we actually trust that what the Oracle was saying was true? As far as the Syndicate are concerned, they trusted it. So from their perspective, they did have to make a trolley problem decision. So you can argue whether or not they were working with accurate information, but I don't think you can argue that they did what they did for no reason at all, or for purely malicious reasons. I think the one thing, again, so this was always there, I think. We even asked the Oracle if dissolving the Syndicate would avert the recession. Now, with the... So a bit of insight into some of the characterization changes that we talked about potentially making to the Syndicate. We want the Syndicate to be highly focused on longevity, on being around for forever. They don't want to completely collapse, of course. And their goal isn't actually maximum profit in the here and now. Their goal is lasting for as long as they possibly can so they can reap the rewards of being around for that long. So under that characterization, them asking the Oracle, like, hey, what if we just dissolved ourselves right here and now to potentially avoid this, that's actually not a small thing for the syndicate to consider. They're basically saying, like, hey, if I shot myself in the head right now, would that end this? And the Oracle said no, and they're like, dang it. All right, well. Yes, so Thermo says the syndicate leadership will probably never allow you into their boardroom meetings unless things are really bad anyway. Sexism is the least of your worries. First, you have to beat the classism. In response to Siriday asking if the player is role playing as a woman and they want to do the syndicate stuff, should the story just ignore that, or should the syndicate lore be less sexist, as First Last has more exposure to it in the campaign? I did want to, in the syndicate campaign, lean into the whole classism angle that Thermo mentioned. Because, I mean, you're from the dirt belt. You're like some poor textile worker who came across some money and now you got a ship. So that would be a lot more interesting of an angle to, or a lot more feasible of an angle to have any sort of pushback from the syndicate against the player.
You are not necessarily from the dirt path. And I think, don't we have the high start in?
Yeah, that's new. But I would then add branches, just depending on what your start is, to change things.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
Sirda
feel like
says,
at
okay,
that
I hadn't
point,
thought about the fact that First Last is from the dirt belt, at least for now. Go ahead, Sog.
yeah, I was just saying at that point, I'd rather we get the syndicate stuff done first and then worry about starts from different places.
Mm-hmm.
Be less of a headache trying to add like 3 different branches for 3 different starts before the campaign is added.
All right, I've realized I have 20 minutes left, and there's actually a lot of questions still. So,
Yeah, let's keep going.
do we want to speed run these? Are there any plans for part 2 of the Free Worlds rework? There are. I have a lot of notes written down somewhere. I just need to get around to it. You know, one of those things. Several core members have been discussing having an alternative Discord.
Wait.
Go ahead.
You can see the plan.
Was there more to that sentence?
Or
Hello?
did he cut out?
Okay, you can see the plan.
What did you mean by see the plans? Or
Can you not hear me anymore? No? You cut out.
No?
yeah.
There was more. Okay. The plan has been foretold, says June. Sir, we lost contact. What do we do? Warp is about to talk about Boeing.
We still can't hear you.
I'm sorry, Dave. I can't hear you.
Still can't hear me.
A little bit there.
You're
We heard you
kind
for a
of coming
second.
through. He says, move on. I'll figure
Okay.
it out. Okay.
Okay.
Several core members have been discussing having alternative Discord as another community server, such as Revolt, which has similar features. What do you think of the idea? Alternative to Discord. I've talked about it before. The main problem is just everyone's on Discord.
Oh, okay.
It sounds like you're...
Far away.
Yeah, it sounds like your mic just is... Like, what's that called? Like the limit or whatever? The gain? I don't even know. It's like... It's like cutting out because you're not loud enough.
Try again, Warp.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Okay. You said that everyone's on Discord. I was going to say all the other alternatives suck. And for the previous comment, I was saying that you can see at least some of the plans in the description of the original PR. I said the things you wanted to change in the other parts of the story.
Mhm.
Did you get all that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. If anybody wants to find that old pull request and link it, that'd be cool. Free Worlds Rework Part 1, yeah. All right. And then, yeah, first, everybody is on Discord. Second, a lot of the other Discord alternatives don't have the same feature set. If things get really bad with Discord for whatever reason, then probably. But
Also,
Yeah.
right now, for all the complaints about Discord, these adverts just appear to be a little thing in the bottom right corner, which is the part of Discord that you use least.
I like how the close buttons didn't ask.
yeah. Zipper says
Half
I
the
don't see
people in
ads.
here don't
Give me
even
my
see
phone.
ads or didn't know that they exist. So, like, I don't think Discord is that bad right now.
Yeah.
Maybe it was more about it being an emergency and not an overall move.
All right. These two
They're
questions were
already in
asked.
Endless Sky.
Hmm?
Jimmy asked when we're putting adverts in Endless Sky.
Oh, it's coming.
There's already an advert for Discord.
Yeah. Can we quickly go through every open pull request like rapid fire now?
Even if we did, we
Quickly
wouldn't get
close
it
them all.
done. No, I don't think we'd even do that in an hour.
All right.
The next question is, what are the plans for Endless Sky Delta?
Yeah.
I think most of the devs agree that it's basically just Zitch's own personal version of the game, not really what it claims to be. Does Type not agree?
I do agree, but Evans just stated that he isn't working on it anymore. So
Yeah, I was gonna get to that.
Like-
I think we were expecting Zitchas would move it somewhere, but it doesn't seem like Zitchas wants to do that. I don't know if anyone else has any ideas, but my suggestion would be that we could move it to the Endless Sky community organization and archive it or something. We did zip,
I think
or at
he
least
created a
people.
separate account.
Yeah, I've seen that, but like, if they wanted to move it, they could have done that by now, and everything I've seen them say on the topic suggested they don't want to move it, so I'm not really sure why they created it anyway.
And we could just initiate the move for them if
And
there's a
none of
thing.
us have, you have to have create a repository in the destination organization, don't you?
Yeah, we have to have permissions on both ends.
Yeah.
We could send a request to transfer, but we couldn't actually cause the transfer to go through.
Also, has Zitchas actually told any of the people who would be able to make the move that this is their organization? Because I've only ever seen other people say that this is their organization. It might just be someone else who's created it.
Yeah, there's no.
Zitchas
I
would
don't
need
know.
to tell whoever's
Can't see
going
the
to initiate
membership.
a move should probably check with Zitchas that that's actually their organization before doing that.
Yeah, so overall plans are just to move it to a separate org for now.
Yeah. All right, 15 minutes. What are the plans for the Remnant campaign? As of right now?
Same as before,
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to pick
And
them
how
up.
long has it? How long has it been since we got like significant campaign progress? Like 5 years.
I still think that it just has ideas for it, but it's like if anyone's curious, we could probably talk about it with them. But as for anything in the game, it really just depends on if anyone's interested for writing it or not, and having people review it on GitHub, and that can include Zitches too. So plans for it pretty much as they would be for any other campaign in the game.
Next question. In High Reveal, how will the High get revealed without Philosopher's Liberation?
This is more of a question for core members because we're still kind of discussing how High Reveal is going to unfold. And one of the discussions was if Philosopher's Liberation, which is the part about the society, I believe. This is kind of a loaded question for a campfire chat, so it's not really like an easy answer to give here because we don't know
You can
if.
find out when you read the story.
Yeah, once we get it done, we can take a look at it then. But right now, we're still looking at whether or not that would be part of it. So.
All right, next question. On Discord, why is there a secret tournament room channel that only Derpy can see? I generally don't know. I do not know. I don't recall ever making this. So did somebody like make it and then somehow lock themselves out?
Is
I think
it
someone's
Zip?
probably just making a joke.
Is it Zora's room that everyone can see though?
No, there's two.
Uh,
There's the one that's
I think
public
it's
and there's
probably
one
just
right below it that only I can see.
a joke. Almost
oh
as
man.
bad as Ziproot's one.
Okay, I deleted it. There is no secret tournament room that only I can see.
It's a little odd that other of you can see it though.
If only Derpy can see it, how would you know about it?
Yeah, but it was not. Okay. Let's go 12 minutes.
Third-party client. That's crazy. Does Derpy plan on eventually writing the Bunradia campaign? Probably. If not, does he have an outline or ideas on what the Remnant, what the Bunradia campaign would look like? And can other people make a Bunradia campaign based on those thoughts? Most of the thoughts that I had were on the pull request that added them. I did have a few notes here and there outside of that I could share, but nothing that's super concrete. What I have said is that since I, at least for the past 9 months, I haven't been around, and I don't actually plan to get to the Bunradia anytime soon, they're free game as far as I'm concerned. If somebody wants to add missions to the Bunradia and have me look over them and review them, then that's fine by me. But you don't have to run everything by me before you start adding it to the game. Or start trying, at least. Next question, not really a campfire question. Okay, I'll skip it. But sharing the pirate development idea doc here for optional pre-reading. That's something you should probably just DM to us. Because when was this? Okay, I mean, granted, this was posted. This question was posted yesterday, so it's like we're going to see it the next day anyway. But if you really have something like this that you want us to look at, you just send it to us.
I believe it's pinned in the Pirate Gameplay channel, but we didn't know that today would be kind of strained as it is for time, so we can look at it tomorrow. We'll have plenty of time tomorrow to get into it.
Yeah.
With the meeting for that.
What is the survey actually for? Thanks for reminding me we were supposed to mention that. Hector has posted a survey for you to answer questions about the game and the community and development. Derpy, you didn't read the question correctly. No, I read it correctly. It wasn't spelled correctly, but I read it
What
correctly.
is the surveys actually for? Question mark. There you go.
There you go. There's your entertainment. It's really just to get thoughts and sentiment and ideas from people. Please do go to the announcements channel here on Discord, or to the thread, the discussion post that was posted on GitHub, and go to the formbricks.com. Never heard of it. Go to the survey site and answer the survey questions, please. They will help us out. Can you crack my back, please? I'm not physically at your location, and I don't want to be.
Would you know?
But I am.
Huh. Time is in your walls, apparently.
All right, 2 more questions. One of them we already answered. 'Cause somebody posted it in Discord, then also posted it in the channel here. But so the last actual question, super important question for all devs to answer. How have you all been? I hope it's been a good month. That's a good question to end on. How's everyone been? Roadrunner says busy.
Yeah, it's extremely busy, and I haven't had time to do anything, basically.
Yeah, I've been all right, but like I'm kind of approaching a early midlife crisis situation here,
Okay.
so I might be a little bit busy going forward.
Early. In late.
That's what one of my friends put it as early late. But Mr. Warp here likes calling me old, so
Yes, you are.
but I'm all right. But I might be a little bit in and out of Endless Sky in the coming future, so we'll see.
Thomas says, so tired recently that I started to sleep at normal times. I've been there. So my weekend has been busy, or will be busy. That's why I have to run in a few minutes here. But for the past month, it's been pretty nice. Getting back into the swing of the game. Doing good at work, doing good with life. I'm enjoying myself. Is that all? Are we good to wrap up?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Because I have an alarm that's about to go off in 2 minutes.
You don't want them to hear that on stream?
Yo, we have a likely ban evader in the Twitch chat trying to sell cheap viewers. Get banned. Enlightened Subjugation 4F. Alright, well, I guess we'll sign off then. Sorry that this was a shorter, condensed campfire chat. I know we usually go for a little over an hour. Maybe closer to an hour and a half, somewhere in that range. But because I have places to be and all the other devs wanted me here. I mean, technically, you guys could probably still go on without me. You would just need to open a new stream. But I do
No
definitely
more
have to leave.
questions. We're done.
Warp says we're done. Okay. Okay, we're done.
All right. Well,
No more questions.
another stream would just be more kind of like rambling, free form. So I don't know if we really need to do that, but
Yeah. Go
we
on
got through the
without me,
questions.
Derpy,
So
mortally wounded, says Hector, yeah. So the next campfire chat will be May 3rd. A reminder that we
that's so
do
close.
yeah, it's so close. We do these the first Saturday of every month. Unfortunately, it's not May 4th. I will be busy on May 4th, so I couldn't do it if you
Ooh.
wanted me to on May 4th.
He's going to Tatooine.
Yep. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. There goes the alarm.
Probably don't hear it. But yeah.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Thank you for asking questions and for chatting with us.
If you have a moment, make sure to go look at the survey, and if you'd like to provide feedback, please do so.
Yes, please answer the survey.
Yeah, thank you guys.
And I guess we'll just sign off. See you guys next time.
See ya.